God knows that we tried it. No point in hiding. I know you wanna go. Shouldn't have to ask you for flowers. I know you're tired. I know you're tired. God knows we tried it. No point in hiding. I know you wanna go. I don't wanna have to love and hate. I don't wanna talk cause it only complicates. I don't wanna fight cause you won't communicate. Shouldn't have to ask you for flowers. Shouldn't have to ask you for flowers. I shouldn't have to ask you for flowers.
Hello, it's Jenna from OT Intuition here with our second episode within the Perinatal OCD series. And today, sharing their story with us is Lisa. Hello.
Hi, Jen.
She's another friend that I've gained from OCD Action, and I'm very grateful to have these ladies in my life. So, Lisa, you're here to talk about your story. Thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
It's really good, I think, to just get our stories out there, and there's hopefully at least one person, but hopefully more, that are going to benefit from this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I think me, you and Jules all had similar types of themes, didn't we? So yeah, it was really difficult for us. Can you remember the sort of how it started, how it all began for you?
Yeah, so I, with my first pregnancy, I've got two children, and with my eldest, I suffered real strong anxiety after she was born. So when I was pregnant for the second time, there was sort of that initial worry of being that anxious again and feeling like that again. And so I kind of was aware that I needed to, if I had any worries, if I had any anxiety, that I would reach out, speak to people. So it was something that actually, whilst I was pregnant, I mentioned to the midwives.
That's really good.
Yeah, because it was a concern. So yeah, pretty much the whole pregnancy. I wasn't majorly anxious through the pregnancy, but I was worried about how I would feel once the baby was born with my anxiety. Yeah, so
And was that your first pregnancy, or your second?
So no, with my first pregnancy, I was just so completely overjoyed because we had IVF for my first pregnancy. So
Yeah.
the pregnancy the whole way through was, I was pretty chilled and not anxious. But yeah, it was just when she arrived, that's when the anxiety came out, and a lot of intrusive thoughts, which is common.
Yeah.
For new mums. But yeah, I didn't really know what it was, and it wasn't really spoken about. So yeah, it was all very internal, and just it went on for probably just over a year that I just felt super anxious and worried about everything. So yeah, I didn't really want to go down the same route the second time. I was just quite keen to speak out and get the help that I would need, second time around. Yeah.
Did you know, would you have said it was OCD the first time round? Did you know that?
No, so it's a funny one because I would have really strong intrusive thoughts about harm to my baby, but it wasn't me. It wasn't intrusive thoughts about me causing the harm. So it was, if, for instance, one I remember is my husband was walking along with the buggy, and we were on this sort of hill, and I was just so I could just visualize not him pushing the buggy, but the buggy going off the side and tripping up, and everyone would I just had I couldn't leave the house without having like thoughts like that, which
Yeah.
again we know now is really common for new mums.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of that. Whereas with my seconds, it was
Yeah.
um it was very different because the harm thoughts were concerned that I would harm my child, which was
Right. Yeah.
whole different level of.
It's really scary when it becomes, when it becomes
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say that has sort of happened, when with my second pregnancy, when the baby came home, I, I was super anxious. I was trying to be calm, and I was doing all the right things for a few days, and then I would say it wasn't even a week before OCD really got hold of me with the harm thoughts of me causing the harm, which,
Mm.
as I said, it was, just took it to a whole different level, really.
So you got home with new baby number two, and you had these thoughts which were new of you harming them. What did that do? Like, can you remember how that felt in your body?
I can. I know. I'll never forget it. It literally paralyzed me. I could not move. I was so fearful,
Mm.
um, and I just literally could not move. And I was just, I mean, it was the middle of the night, and everyone was asleep. But
Yeah.
I just remember feeling like I was in complete panic, fear, and I'm sort of like my body just shut down almost.
So scary. Was anyone like, were you able to wake your husband up or get any support in that moment?
So in that moment, I didn't wake him up because I remember thinking, I'm going to sound, I'm going to sound insane. I'm going to sound
It,
crazy.
and then you start catastrophizing, don't you?
And then
Like,
that's it.
what is going to happen to me now? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So then everything is fear-based worry. And it's like, you, and then that's where you just start wondering who the hell you are, really. It's like,
Yeah.
it's that panic of, you feel like you've lost yourself, you don't know who you are, why these thoughts are coming to you, and it just feels so real. But I just remember feeling paralyzed because the thought was there, and it was just so scary.
And I said that to Jules when we spoke the other day, that I felt similar to how you're describing it. Yeah, I just felt like my body was shutting down, and
Mm.
it was difficult to eat.
Mm.
I struggled to have the baby near me.
Mm. Mm.
And you sort of feel selfish, don't you, because their needs are so important in those precious moments, and you want to like enjoy like these precious memories, like you've just had a baby, but
Mm.
you feel selfish, and you feel a lot of guilt, don't you, because you're not able to really be in the moment with them. And
Mm.
like, I
Mm.
still say it now, I just feel like the whole beginning of my second's birth is just trauma, and but also like I just feel like I missed out on them being a newborn baby.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel that?
I feel like I was just always, my body was just on fight or flight. It was just
Yeah.
always, I was always on edge. Like, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, my body and my brain was in fight mode. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It was just on edge all the time.
Did you
And
get like the sweating and the heart racing and
yeah, I think, I think when went into a real panic, um, that is how I felt. But a lot of the time, it was all in my head, and that's where the compulsions, just like ruminating, um, overthinking things, and it's just all in my head, and I'm trying to problem solve it in my head, but you're
yeah.
obviously going around in circles because it's just, that's OCD. So yes, and I think I think the thought of feeling like that still, it does scare you still, doesn't it? The thought of
Yeah,
feeling those feelings again is
yeah,
just terrifying.
yeah, because it's not just the thought, it is those internal
Yes,
sensations
what it
for
does
me
do.
that comes,
Yeah.
yeah, that comes with that. And I mean, yeah, I was just, I think for a couple of weeks, just, yeah, like shaking and
Mm.
just feeling sick and, yeah, struggling to eat and stuff. And I know family, I think it scared me that family don't quite understand. So like when you did you who did you eventually open up to, or did you?
Yeah. So I as I said before, straight away, as soon as I, with pregnancy number 2, I said to my husband, I'm just really concerned I'm going to feel anxious again. So it was obviously a topic that we were like keeping an eye on. And yeah, so I mentioned to him that I was feeling really anxious, and but I didn't say to him the thoughts, because again, there's that line, isn't there, of like, why am I thinking these thoughts, and why are these thoughts coming to me, and that must mean XYZ.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I say it out loud, he's going to think that I'm XYZ. So it's so difficult. Like when you're in the moment, you can't think clearly, can you?
No,
You can't think
absolutely not.
logically, but your loved ones will realise, okay, this is you need some help.
Yeah,
Um,
and I get you're protecting yourself, aren't you?
yes, yeah,
Because I know I just thought, oh my God, like, are my children going to be taken away from me?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Am I unsafe? Are they in
Mm.
danger?
Mm.
Like,
But did you ever feel like you're protecting yourself, but you're also protecting your children? I had
yeah,
that. I had that. Like there was these intense worries and fears in my head, but at the same time, I knew I had to protect my children. Like,
yeah,
and I don't, and I mean from being taken away from me, because it was just this weird sensation of like this, you know, can I, am I okay to look after my children? But then I know I am. Oh, it was just, yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's like your true self is in there,
mm,
so you do have that rational part of your mind in there within like your conscience,
yeah,
just like telling
somewhere.
you like they need you, you are their
Yes,
mother,
yes,
you will keep them safe and you're doing your best and all that stuff. But then the
yeah.
OCD just comes in and is like,
It just goes, nah,
yeah, yeah, right,
yeah,
yeah, no, you
yeah,
yeah, you're lying to yourself, you are a monster and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, it's such a battle, and if you don't know what OCD is and that is what you're
Mm,
experiencing, then what are you left with really, apart
yeah,
from the thoughts of that your world has just turned upside down because
yeah,
you now are having these thoughts, and what does that mean about about who you are, your identity and your
mm.
morals and values and things. So on a scale of like 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I think I know what you're going to say, but like, how would you rate it for like how bad you felt in the beginning?
Oh, definitely a 10. Yeah, just
Yeah.
horrific. Yeah,
And
awful.
how would you say, so we're all about around 2 or just over 2 years
Mm,
past the
mm.
date, aren't we? So how would you say you're feeling now?
Oh, just so much better. And I do have days where the OCD is loud and it comes back, and it's never as intense. It's never as intense. And I, it is loud sometimes, but I do live by my values, and I obviously I've had therapy, so I know what to do and what not to do, which is difficult
Mm.
sometimes. You do get sucked in sometimes, but um, yeah, I think what triggers me is a change in my life. So, for instance, if I was going on holiday or something, and I had to, and it was gonna, I had to plan for us to go away, and like in my mind, that's a change. Like, you know, when there's school holidays and you know, there's a change in our routine as a family.
Yeah.
It's things like that really that sort of trigger me.
So like
It's almost like yeah,
stressful. Yeah.
stressful. Yeah, absolutely. Any sort of big like life events, it just sort of triggers me off. I guess
Yeah.
it's my anxiety that just
Yeah.
starts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, similar again, that's the same for me on the occasions where I've experienced OCD, just yeah, taking over my life. It's been over really big life events.
Mm.
So after you told your husband, then I know you didn't tell him about the thoughts you were having, but you
Mm.
told him you were, you know, feeling, I'll use the word unwell, but yeah, not feeling yourself
Mm.
again. What happened then?
So I contacted, so when the midwife comes after the baby's born and just checkups and everything, I did again, you know, you fill out the questionnaire, which I just think is ridiculous because I do feel like they're sort of just ticking boxes as to whether you know, whether you're okay, like you're well enough or not as a
Yeah,
mum. And I did mention to the lady, who I didn't really, I mean, she's a midwife, obviously she's busy, she's seeing lots of mums and babies, and but I did feel like I wanted to sort of open up, but at the same time I'd never met her before, didn't know
yeah,
her, she didn't know me. You know, if I tell her all these things that were in my thoughts, she's going to think I'm a lunatic. But
yeah,
um so how could I tell her if I couldn't tell my husband, you know? So I just sort of planted a few sort of seeds, I guess, is to say like I felt anxious, and I did feel like this was my first pregnancy, and da 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 da. And she gave me a leaflet, and it was for meetups for mums who feel anxious, and it's through the NHS.
yeah,
So a few days later, I contacted the lady who's running these groups, and she was like, "Yeah, lovely, come meet us for a coffee. You know, we are." And she told me where they're gonna be, and la la la. So I went with me and baby, and so like sort of putting on a brave face. I thought I'd meet mums who are possibly in the same situation. You know, like
yeah.
that sort of thing. But no one actually turned up. It was just me and
Oh
two ladies who
no.
run the group. So it was quite intense, I think.
Yeah, yeah, not what you needed.
Yeah, not what I needed really, because I did feel like the light was being shone on me, you know,
Yeah.
asking me all these questions and everything.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, but I didn't open up. Again, it was almost like I needed to get to know the lady first before I could trust her to tell her how I really
Yeah,
felt.
definitely. But at
Um,
least you got out the house and you went somewhere, like that
I
in
did.
itself.
Yeah. And then we met up again, another group. And again, there was no one there, which is odd because I just think like, surely I can't be the only mum who's finding things a
No.
struggle.
Well, it might be that they are struggling so much that they're not getting, like
Yeah.
you did really well to just get
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
maybe that speaks was it Mothers for Mothers? Is that the group?
I can't remember. It's through the NHS, but it's
Yeah.
that just little leaflet they give you if you're
Yeah, it's probably
feeling
something similar to that. I
something
think
like that.
that's yeah, I think that's what they call it here in Bristol where I am. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh okay. So
So
what so from there?
I went there, and I opened up and I told, and actually I got really upset because I was talking and I was obviously
Yeah.
feeling really emotional that day, and I broke down and I just said I'm worried about harm to my daughter, and it was a weird situation because I felt actually better afterwards because I felt like I trusted her, and I felt like I had a bit of I got it out my system, you know.
Yeah.
It's a bit like reassurance, isn't it?
Was
Like,
this
you know,
at the group?
yes,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you went to the group second time, no
second
one's
time,
there, and
no
you
one's
opened
there,
up. That's a
and
big
I
thing to
opened
do.
up
Yeah.
because actually just started crying, so I just thought, yeah, I'm just gonna. But I didn't say everything. I didn't say the thoughts were of me harming, I just said that I'm really worried about, like, intrusive thoughts and all of that, and harm to my baby. Me harming is in like falling down the stairs, holding the baby, or like in the bath, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you try to sort of beat around the bush, don't
Beat
you? So
around the bush. Yeah.
yeah.
So they kind of looked at me. There was two ladies. They kind of looked at me as if like they didn't really know what to do with me.
Mm.
That sort of like, head to the
And that
side,
makes it
like,
even worse, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
then you're like,
yeah,
oh my God, are the police coming? What's
yes,
happening?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I kind of didn't feel it at that point. I felt like, okay, if this is her job, she's gonna know, like, she's gonna understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's gonna understand this is what she does. It's her job. Um, so off I went, and then I got a phone call probably about an hour later from her telling me that she was contacting, I don't know who, basically because I had mentioned harm to my baby, that she was going to
Oh my God.
report me to her. I don't know who it was, but um I just stopped listening from that point, because I was literally terrified. I've never been like
That
so terrified in my life, because there I am opening up to someone who I, thought could help.
who you thought
Um,
was safe.
yeah. And it just felt like my worst nightmare
Yeah.
had come true. My children were going to be taken away from me. I was a terrible person. I'm, a monster. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I don't
Um,
know who she went to for advice, but yeah, that is just
it's
they're
terrible.
lucky. They're lucky because that could have been, that could have made you do something really silly, because it is so scary and no one understands that.
Mm, mm.
To
Uh,
yourself, that could have brought harm to you.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah. I the next few days were absolutely awful. I mean, my husband was so angry with this lady, because obviously he trusted this service. Um,
yeah,
Off I went with our baby, and I opened up, and yeah, it was awful. And then I had it was just phone call after phone call after phone call, because she then phoned my doctor. She then she phoned my midwife, the midwife who had come over. Um, and yeah, it just basically I was getting all these phone calls from people who were suddenly concerned about my baby's safety, really. So
no, I'm sorry you went through that, because that I literally have like goosebumps on my arms, but not good big goosebumps. Like that is just so, oh, it makes my tummy feel funny as well. But no, that is literally, like you say, the worst nightmare, and I just feel like your husband really angry that you had to go through that, and sad, because who else is that happening to? It's lack of understanding, isn't it, and judgment, which is really not what we need in that moment.
no, exactly. You just need someone to say, we can support you, we can
Yeah,
help
it's going to
you,
be
it's
okay.
it's going to be okay. And that's all I needed. And yeah, that I got absolutely the opposite to that.
Wow.
So
And they're
I
sharing your information in terms of what you said.
Mhm.
I guess they're thinking, oh well, we're allowed to we don't need her consent to share what
Mhm.
she has shared with us,
Mhm.
because it it's about harm. So if her child is in danger, we need to put this through a safeguarding, whatever. But oh, it is so not safeguarding. If anything, it's safeguarding around the mother. It's not the child, it's the
Yeah,
mother. And that's,
yeah,
it's just so infuriating.
yeah, yeah. So then I backtracked. Really, the doctor rang and said, what's going on, and da 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 da. And then I totally went back into it and just said, oh, I've just, intrusive thoughts. And I went back into like, oh, like I just, yeah, basically said, oh, it's all intrusive thoughts about like falling down the stairs and la la la, which she just said to me, that's normal really for a mum. for a new mum. So it all went quiet, and yeah. So I
Yeah,
then a few weeks later decided to well, I was Googling again at this stage. I didn't even know it was OCD. I did not know what it was, and it was. I
yeah,
then started Googling. Then I saw this. Then I saw about OCD, and I thought that's me. That this list is literally everything that I'm feeling, and it was
yeah,
this overwhelming like feeling of relief. But at the same time, it didn't mean that it was over. I didn't take everything away, all my feelings. It just meant that there was hope that I'm not
yeah.
a monster.
Yeah, that
um,
this is actually something a lot of people have
this is something.
experienced. Yeah,
Yes.
and there's treatment for
Yeah.
it.
Yes. So then I reached out to a private psychologist, and I paid to see her several times, and then that's when I started to get some support that I needed, really.
Mm. And were you aware of like the NHS providing perinatal mental health services?
Um, I mean, I guess so, because obviously that's why I went to that group.
Yeah, yeah,
I was thinking perhaps she'll be like, hang on a minute, this sounds like OCD.
yeah.
Or, this, I'm not 100% sure, but it could be. Perhaps I could pass this information on to you, or send you a few links as to, I don't know. I mean, they
Yeah.
must have training for this sort of thing.
But it wouldn't have, I mean, it probably would have scared you from going any further with the NHS
Oh,
thinking,
100%.
you know,
Yeah, totally. There
yeah,
was absolutely no way that I was going to open up to the NHS again. I mean, I later on did, because I've more recently had some therapy with the NHS, but it was only because I went through OCD Action. So
yeah,
I contacted OCD Action. I at this point as well, I was feeling more. I was feeling. I was feeling better. I was on my sort of like recovery, because I'd had private help, but I wasn't feeling. I wasn't feeling. I felt like I was relapsing a little bit.
yeah,
Um, and I think like my therapist did help me to a certain point, but it wasn't all the help that I needed. It
yeah,
was that she did a lot with me, but I think there were still areas that needed to be um, spoken about, really. So
mm,
yeah, that's when I went through OCD Action. They then were so supportive and gave me loads of information as to what to say to my doctor. So they literally said, print this letter off,
yeah.
take
They
it
were
to your
amazing.
doctors. They were brilliant. Like, if only I'd done that in the first place. But again, no one. I'd never heard of perinatal OCD before, so I didn't know what to do. But yeah, it's going through OCD Action, getting my a letter of a pathway to choose. Is it called that? So
Oh, yeah, that was it.
yeah,
Yeah, pathway to
pathway to
choose.
choose. So this is my rights. This is who I want to go be. For what's the word, forwarded to. And
Yeah,
even my doctor said to me, when I finally opened up to the doctor, and that was probably like about a year and a half after.
yeah.
So took me a long time. I was traumatized from speaking to the NHS before.
What was your doctor like? Because I spoke about with Jules what my doctor was like.
Mm.
Really judgmental.
She was good, but
That's good. Yeah.
there was a side of her that said, I'm not sure if you need more therapy because you've had therapy. And
That you've paid for.
that I've paid for, yes.
Yeah, so unfair.
And I stood my ground, and I thought, no, I want to be forwarded to it was the Maudsley, so NHS, but they specialise in OCD, and I am so thankful to the lady I spoke to, because she was absolutely outstanding, and she is NHS, but it's
Yeah,
just getting there. it's just getting the right route and the right help.
Yeah, people that know what you're going through. And I'm so fortunate that I did go through to the perinatal mental health team quite quickly, because I just happened to have a health visitor that was, yeah, very on board with my situation, and was so warm and welcoming even when I opened up to her about, my horrible thoughts. She was just compassionate, and that was just so, yeah, lovely. So
That's good.
yeah, so I mean, being with the perinatal mental health team, because they deal with this literally every day, they make you feel seen. And it's just because, like I said to Jules, when I went to my GP, they didn't have an understanding of it. And that's why the perinatal mental health team, the psychiatrist that I was seeing, actually had to tell them that, what Jenna has opened up to you about is very common. And her saying, we get this every day. We speak to mums that have these thoughts every day. It's so common for us to hear, but GPs aren't hearing that every day, because that their service is broad. It's not just for our unique experiences, it is covering everything. But they so need to know about this, because it's just like what you went through is just not on. It's
Yeah,
dangerous. It's
it
dangerous
really
praxis.
is. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, it's quite concerning, especially when there's a service for mums who are feeling anxious, and they're obviously not being fully trained.
No, for these are the mums that are going to open up about these things, and you
Yeah.
need to know the right path
Mhm.
for that. Yeah.
Mm.
And how to communicate with them when they do open up. It's safeguarding for a mother, isn't it? Like, don't go and then judge them as being at risk of harming their child. Like, I completely appreciate that children need to be protected, but
Of
when
course.
when it comes to OCD, that it's that they're probably the most safest child on the
Yeah.
planet. It's
Yeah.
because we are having these thoughts because they are the most important thing to us in our life.
Absolutely.
So you've talked about the NHS, you've talked about the private therapy that you had, and OCD Action. So in terms of the therapy, is there anything you would say like was the most effective treatment?
Yeah, so exposure therapy was definitely the most effective, but obviously done in the right way as well. So I did feel like my first therapist went quite strong straight
Yeah.
away, which
Mhm.
actually can work for some people, I guess, but for me, perhaps it was a little bit too much too soon. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's but then this is the thing, isn't it? It's like
Well, no, I think because like Jules said about OCD Action, going in too strong as well. And like initially you do need like a bit of reassurance if it's going to stop you from potentially harming yourself, because that's how, you are
yeah,
literally believing that you're a monster. So you need some level of reassurance just to reconnect with, I think,
yes,
just your true self and your
yeah,
actual real values and morals and things that
yeah,
aren't at the surface level right now, because OCD has just like worked its way into your true self and taken over, isn't it? And you just, like you say, you lose yourself. So to just have someone just be really gentle with you and reconnect you just to parts of yourself that you've lost for so long is, I think, just the first step. And then medication, like for me, was so helpful in just because the anxiety was so intense. I don't think I could have even listened to what the therapist was saying without
yeah,
the medication just getting me to that place of being able to connect in therapy and participate. So
yeah, absolutely. I think if I went back to the therapy, you'd be in a different place. Like when I had
yeah.
my NHS therapy compared to my private paid therapy, I was in a completely different place and in a completely different headspace. You know, the first time I went to the private therapy, I thought she was going to call the police. The police would take me away outside
Yeah.
as soon as I left. But you know, so when I had my NHS therapy, I was able to take it on board a lot more.
Mm,
But also she, you know, and my self-esteem was in a much better place.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's really important to work on your
definitely.
like self-love and self-compassion. And actually, like, there was a lot of blame on myself, and like you said before, Jen, like, you know, you feel guilty.
Yeah, the
But like
shame.
the shame just eats away, and it's just another layer of
Yeah,
something, you know, you don't need. I mean, yeah, so I was given sertraline when I went to the doctors. So like I say, I'd gone like a year and a bit without anything because I was
amazing.
petrified. I don't know if you had the thought of, well, if I take these tablets, it's going to make me do things that I'm not, you know, it makes me
Yeah,
feel like I'm going to be out of control. But
yeah,
you know, once they settled, it was the first few weeks were very difficult, but once it settled, yeah, I'm still on them now, and
mm.
they really help me. So
Was I talking to you when I started them? I can't, because I remember it
yes.
took so long for mine
Mm,
to work. Did you? I feel
yeah.
like maybe you were saying they will work, they will work.
No, you started before me, and
Oh,
I
did
remember saying,
I?
yeah, and I
Okay.
remember saying to you, oh, I'm really worried, and I remember you saying it is hard, but it will get better. Like you will.
Yeah. 8 weeks it took. It was really long. I
Yeah.
was ringing the crisis line like, I can't take this
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
were like, honestly, persevere, persevere. And I think they said if it gets to week 9 and still you're feeling worse, because I was feeling even worse starting the sertraline. I think I was just sort of mute for a while, just I couldn't even talk, and I was so worried that the kids were going to notice. I mean, I'm sure they did, um, particularly my eldest, yeah. But yeah, eventually they did work, and I'm so glad that I persevered. But I was close to giving up, and I don't know where I would have been. Like, you know, what would have happened if I stopped? If something else would have worked or what? But yeah, I just listened to them. I thought if I'm ringing the crisis line and they are telling me to keep taking them, then
Mm,
you have to have so much trust in them, don't you? Like,
yeah.
you're so
Yeah.
fragile at that point as well. You're just like, okay, you almost feel like a child, don't you? You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, I will do what you say. I just want to get better. Like,
Yeah.
whoever you are on the other side of the like,
I
and
know, I
yeah,
know, but we're laughing, but it's. I remember doing the same, and I remember thinking, how am I going to get through the day? Like,
yeah,
you know, and you try and hold it all together, but yeah, it's difficult some days, especially when you're starting the medication. It's yeah, it's hard, but yeah,
yeah.
I'm so glad I persevered, and you know, I'm not in any rush to come off it. Although I would, you know, the thought of coming off it would be nice, but at the end of the day, I do feel better and I feel less anxious. So
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I do too. And I think in my general life as
mm,
well, just feel less anxious, like
mm,
talking to people. And I mentioned to Jules, like sometimes in like supervision and things, I never even noticed it, but I think it was like breathing OCD. I would really focus too much on my breathing, and then sort of maybe even go into a bit of panic mode,
yeah,
like panic attacks over my breathing and not being able to breathe and eye contact and all these weird things, which yeah is just so, it's all just connected, isn't it?
it is. Yeah,
And
I feel
it's
like with the panic as well. I think
yeah,
that's that like I'm panicked that I'm going to have a panic attack. So
the fear of
it's
fear
all
we talked
yeah, the
about, didn't
fear
we?
of
Yeah.
fear. Exactly. Yeah.
But no, we're all doing so much better, and I know it was quite funny in our WhatsApp group as well, because we're all quite similar in ways, in that we were all quite perfectionists with how we approached the treatment as well, weren't we? Like we had to do it just right, and we were sharing so much like research and that between us all. I think as we got better, that got less and less, didn't it? You could tell we
Yes.
were getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's almost like you read something and you think, oh, that's it. That's the answer. That's the
Yeah.
answer. To make me
I
better,
must
I
share it.
must
Yeah.
share this information. I remember, it's. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but I was like, it's all about how I'm breathing. Yeah, like you just said about the breathing.
Yeah.
But I was like, right, so I'm going to do these breathing meditations, and don't get me wrong, all of these things help, but they're not going to get rid of it. All of
No.
these things like doing yoga, going for a walk, and having a coffee with a friend. Like all of these things are going to help you feel generally better, but
Yeah.
it's not the answer. Like, and that's what I had to stop. So I feel like, if I heard something, I couldn't latch onto that, because I would latch onto it and be like, oh, that's the answer, and then I'd research it, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a
Did
tricky one.
you? I feel like you might have spoken about this, but you got like really attached to, I think it was one of your therapists as well. Like you get
Yes.
that panic because did they go on maternity leave and then you were
Yes.
like, you
So
think no one is going to be as good as them.
so that was my paid therapist, and like I say, she was brilliant, but I feel like there was a time where I needed to walk away, and she did try, but
Yeah,
I kept
let's
going
try.
back. I was like, oh God, I feel bad. I need to go and see her again. And it's like that reassurance, isn't it?
Yeah,
As soon as I
yeah,
come out, I'd be like, oh, I feel better now. I've let it all out, and she's told me it's fine, so it's fine.
yeah.
And
You
then
can almost get a bit addicted to the reassurance from the therapist, I guess. Like,
yes, exactly. And then she went off on maternity, and I was a bit like, oh gosh, how am I going to cope?
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's finding that fine line.
Yeah, and we can laugh now
But
because I
oh yeah,
mean, we're in such a better place, and I think that's important too. Like, I know having a sense of humor really helped me through some of it, like
mm.
challenging the intrusive thoughts with humor as well. Um,
Yeah,
that was something
I
that, yeah.
found that really difficult, but
Did you? Yeah, and everyone's so
yeah,
different. We're all so different, aren't we,
mm.
with how we meet it.
Yeah.
That yeah, I've loved having our WhatsApp group, and I think yeah, we've all been fantastic, like to supports to each other.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's been such a help. I mean, again, like I say, it's like a pillar, another pillar that's helped me feel better. Just
Yeah,
you guys, because although we are located very, like, we're not near each other, I feel like having gone through what we've gone through, we will be friends for life now. Like,
I know. Well,
it's
we've
like
camped
you say, we
together,
are
so that is like
yeah.
and Lisa, we we can edit this bit out, but Lisa, I found is actually just to like, because big myth about OCD being tidy. Lisa is not. She's not tidy. And
No.
you left the tent, didn't you? And then you come back, and I had like tidied all yours and your daughter's belongings like
Yeah,
into a.
into a nice neat pile. Yeah. Oh gosh.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I just to bust that myth. That's not a
yeah.
thing.
No.
Not everyone with OCD is tidy.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely not.
And I think a few of us in the group, I mean, I am diagnosed with ADHD, but some of you are also wondering if maybe you're
Yeah,
neurodivergent in some way, aren't you? But you haven't been assessed. But I would say there are similarities in the ways that our brains work and how we
absolutely.
communicate, which
Yeah.
makes the group even more special, I think, because we all seem to just be on the same
On
wavelength.
yeah, definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's something that as you say, I've not been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure, I tick all the boxes for ADHD.
Yeah. And then that does make you more susceptible to OCD,
Mm.
apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all very interesting. And we, between us all, we've read so much. I think we would just have some sort of degree in,
Yeah.
I don't know, like. And also, I was just going to say, like, I think having, because all of us found like OCD therapists on Instagram, didn't we? Like the Jenna over, I can never say her
Yeah.
surname.
Yeah.
And it was really nice, I think, because they had OCD themselves. I think that's why we were so drawn to them.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because, like, the way they approach the treatment is, I think, a little bit different because they have that understanding of what it's actually like to have it.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, like you say, your therapist, and I think Jules is initially just going in really harsh with the, the exposure response stuff and just completely dropping all your compulsions and things. I think that's so harsh if you haven't experienced it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I think everyone is different. I think it sounds like a few of us liked the sort of compassionate side. Almost like, did you look at acceptance and commitment therapy?
Yes, yeah, I looked into
Yeah,
that. Yeah. I
that was
think
something I liked. Yeah.
yeah, I think that was a big thing for me. Yeah, just sort of
Mm.
accepting it and just feeling, giving myself, you know, giving myself a break really. Like I'm absolutely doing my best and I'm doing a good job and in life in general and and I think I was so hard on myself at the beginning, like why
Yeah.
can't I get better? Why am I feeling like this still? Whereas like you say, now I just think, right, if I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day. Just let it be
Yeah.
there. Let it be there. And there was always this like in my head of don't let it be there. Get rid of it. What can I do? And we were
Yeah.
saying about like I heard on yours talking to Jules about vintage, going
Yeah.
on vintage just buying random stuff that we just don't need. But it was like I remember doing that because it was almost like taking control, like changing my mindset and my what I'm thinking about and just
Yeah.
sort of sitting with those thoughts and letting them be there and just not trying to make them go away, which sounds so easy. It's really not.
No, it really is.
Um,
And when you're, I think when you're in the sort of what's the word I want? When it's all, just happening, the beginning of
yeah,
the OCD, like it's I've had a mind blank now, Lisa. Right, hang on. Um we're just gonna have a laughing fit now. I've completely blanked what I was about to say.
I can't help you. Don't know where you're going with this.
What were you saying? What were you saying?
Um, it's really hard to not. So when you're having these thoughts, it's really hard to let them be there and try not to make them go away. And
Yeah, that's it. So when you're like deep in the when you're feeling
trenches,
really
yeah.
unwell, I'm just gonna say,
Mm.
it's really hard to just let them be there because they are literally like every second, aren't they? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
amount of them is
Oh
just like,
gosh, constant. Yeah, and it's like. Sorry, I'm gonna let you talk before I
oh
interrupt.
no, it's all right. I was just going to go down the lot that because in therapy they will say, try something like, I'm having the thought that I'm going to do this, but then
Mm,
you do that and then it's another thought, or maybe even a thought whilst you're saying that.
yeah.
So it feels so overwhelming initially, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think I felt quite lost. I'd go to therapy and she'd be like, this is what you need to do, da 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 da. And then I'd walk out and be like, okay, and I'd forget. And then these and then you have a thought and I almost didn't know what to do. It was almost like I felt
Yeah.
like I know I should be doing something, but I'm not doing that. And it's almost like that, oh God, like you say, we're trying to do it perfectly.
Yeah.
Um
I'm not doing it perfect, so I'm just going to stay unwell. Yeah. Those sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
thoughts.
yeah, yeah. And I think obviously it's for me it's been nearly 3 years now, so a lot of the thoughts aren't new. um you know every now and again something it will pop into something new will pop into my head, but a lot of the time it's something that has come into my head before. So I'm not saying it's not difficult, but it's easier than the first time it ever comes into your head, the first few
Yeah.
times. So because to just let it be there and just carry on with your life and your value, and living your life by your values and everything. So
Yeah. It's like breaking that cycle of of like, oh, well, that thought means because you judge yourself, don't you? Like, well,
yeah.
that thought means I'm a monster. Oh my God. Like, what does this mean about me? And then, like you say, we go down that rabbit hole then of like, the social worker's going to come, my children going to be taken away from me. What is my life going to be like? Maybe I'm going to go to jail. And then, and that is so scary initially. But then I think some of us eventually were like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go to jail. Yeah, that means I'm that. Like, just sort of playing with the OCD story a bit. And that's where I found the humour helpful. And I think some people just found the like, just telling yourself the most scary story that your brain's come up with and just being like, okay, I can handle that. That's going to be tough, but I can still handle even the worst thing ever. I can handle it. And I think that was like the acceptance, and that was so hard to do, wasn't it? But that was the acceptance of, okay, and like there's a part of you that knows like that is ridiculous, but
it still does something inside of you, which then causes worry and fear, which then but I was going to say, also just popped into my head about with my therapist from the NHS. She did a lot of work, like trauma work, for me as well, because I think because of what I went through initially, there was a lot of trauma there. And I think for anyone going through, whatever the situation, there is trauma there, and there is that, that you've got to deal with it. So yeah, we did a lot of, I don't know what you call it, but we would go back into a situation where
your trauma timeline, was it like a
it was so we would go back into the moment, I guess, of the trauma, and she would almost rewrite the ending, so it would be like,
I remember you saying that.
that found, I don't know what that's called, but she would, and that actually made a big difference, because it gave me sort of like, again, that confidence that I needed, and it just made me feel, I don't know how it works, but it works, and it just made me feel less traumatized by that situation.
So could an example be that you went to that second mother baby group, you explained to them what they were going through, and they did, they followed the right process, and they got you help, and they understood that what you were going through was really difficult?
So in that situation, we went back into it, and I said, I said to the ladies my situation, and then actually she said, now imagine me walking into the room, and I'm saying, stop, hang on a minute, Lisa has OCD, she needs the right support, so she would write the ending, and she would almost put them in their place, so it gives me that feeling of like, I'm not wrong, I'm not in danger, I'm
That's
not a
amazing.
bad person. So and that's, I don't know what type of therapy that is, but I found that really powerful.
No, that is really helpful, because no, you do experience trauma, and I still have it with explaining to the GP what I was going through, and her reaction, to think that she maybe even had a slight inkling that I don't know, like, did she think I could actually be capable of those things? It bothered me so much, and again, that's why we have OCD, because we care too much about how other people perceive us, or if anyone thinks we're bad, if we're not pure and innocent good people, then we think we're doing something wrong. But that's why we can't be perfectionists, so you can't be perfect at life, and that's what we've had to learn, isn't it? And accept we're never going to be perfect. No one is. That's boring.
Exactly. But
and
I
it's
also,
okay.
exactly. But I also feel quite strongly about with new mums who do feel that pressure to be perfect and to be, not just with mental health, but like just everything. Like there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I think
Without
that's
having OCD.
without having OCD. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, it's there needs to be more care for mum as well as baby, I think. Yeah.
definitely. And
Mm.
from family around you as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like other people's little comments and things are just, I know people think they're trying to be helpful sometimes, but it can just be, especially if it's your first child as well,
Mm.
it can just be really difficult to be, oh, is baby not sleeping through the night yet? Oh, well, you were sleeping through
Mm.
the night when I had you, or
Yeah.
whatever. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, all those sorts of comments, just like you don't know what else that mum is going through. And those sorts of comments are just, yeah, not helpful. Maybe just offer to make them a cup of tea and make them some meals.
Do the hoovering.
Yeah, do the
Yeah.
hoovering. That's how you can be supportive. Giving parenting advice is never really
No.
very helpful,
No.
unless they're asking you for it, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my point of view. Everyone's different, but
Mm.
so Lisa, what would your advice be to someone that's going through the thick of it right now?
Mm. Mm. I think my advice would just be that you're not alone. There is help, there is support. You will get through this. And I just highly recommend speaking to OCD Action. And it's quite overwhelming, like the information when you are in the thick of it and you don't really know what it is. But that's what they're there for, to give
Absolutely.
you that
Yeah.
advice that you can then take to your doctors and move forward with that information. But it's very daunting going to the doctors with no information and no sort of knowledge, I guess.
Did they give you a template then for what you could
Yes.
say? Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so useful. I was just thinking, what could we say about the group because I don't think me and
Mhm.
Jules touched on, like, what did we actually do in the group?
Yes. What, in our online monthly groups?
Like as a
Yeah.
Zoom, wasn't it? A
So
monthly Zoom?
yeah, that was really helpful. Obviously, that's how we met.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I feel like it was very heavy, as in I found it very heavy to listen to everyone's stories and
Mm,
situations, and it was difficult to obviously bring that's what I find difficult as well, sort of bringing it all back up to the surface
yeah.
again. But equally, like, so amazing to meet people who are going through the same thing, and you want to support those people. You've never met these people before, but you want to give them every support and
Yeah.
just
You
let them
feel
know
like you
that they're
know
not
them.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's such a lovely, like, I mean, it's not lovely, it's horrendous to have, but the shared
Yeah.
experience, and oh, it just makes you, like, I remember just trying not to cry in some of them because it was just
Mm.
so, right, is
Mm.
cathartic the word? Just like it was just I can't, yeah, it was just really, it was powerful, just, yeah,
It
hearing
was.
we were all being so brave, to open up. And I remember even in some of those sessions I just felt like, oh, no one's got the OCD I've got. Like, okay, they're experiencing it, but that they haven't got what I've got. And I know there was one mum that had the harm OCD that you had initially, so thought of their child coming to harm by someone else.
Mm.
And then I thought, well, I can't say about my harm because then you're going to think I'm like a danger to other children, because my harm
Yeah.
is about
Yeah.
harming the child, not them being harmed by someone else. I mean, sometimes it could be that, but what if it's me harming them? So what does that say about me? Is that not OCD? You get
Mhm.
all those thoughts, don't you?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it was really helpful then that the people that were I don't know what you call them, but the advocators that were running the groups
Yeah.
were people that had been through having OCD, and some of them had had some really taboo, like light harm OCD, and they were really open about it, weren't they? And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah
And that's how they'd open the sessions. They would introduce themselves, tell them what OCD they have had in the past.
Yeah.
Did a little rundown, and it would instantly. I remember I had my video, because you don't have to have your camera on, but I remember
No.
I didn't even want to put my name. Like,
No, I
I
was the
didn't even want to
same.
put my name,
Yeah.
to be like anonymous and just like listen to everyone.
And they don't mind that, do they? They
They don't
welcome
mind
you
that,
to,
because I tell
yeah,
you
to
what, the
do
next
that.
time you do it, you'll feel more comfortable, and you might feel comfortable enough to put your camera on or your name or whatever. But then you start recognizing people, and you think, well, actually, they're being strong, they're being brave.
Yeah.
I want to be part of this, and it's nice. But at the same time, I was doing it for quite a few months, and I was like, is this a is this reassurance?
Yeah.
Because I was going on, and I guess I wasn't in the thick of it like some people were. Um,
Yeah.
and I was then, but then I felt like I wanted to be supportive for them and let them know that it was going to be okay. So it's it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It
Because
is, yeah.
it was great for the time, but you can't do it. It's not for forever, is it? It's just another
No.
pillar of help, really.
Yeah. We all have so many layers though, don't we? And therapy
Mm.
really opens the doors with those layers, and
Yeah,
I think
it
just
really
allows you
does.
to learn about ourselves. We've learned so much about each other as well.
Oh gosh, yeah, therapy is just amazing. I mean, it's like you say, it it's hard. It's very hard. It does open up a lot about your childhood, but it's it's really good to feel more yourself and a bit more free and confident as well in my circumstance.
Yeah, definitely. I think allowing other people to like give you that insight into what you've experienced as well is there's something really special about that. Like,
Mm.
yeah, being able to share something that you've had a certain opinion of, and then someone else is like I said some things about my childhood, and then the therapist is like, actually, I think that what you went through was really difficult, like really difficult,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
seem
Just to
to sort of
validate
shrug it
that.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's like,
that's
you
make
shrug
a
it off
feeling.
like you've that like it's no big deal, like almost like you're not accepting that that was not great. So she allowed me to have more compassion for what I'd been through and not just shrug it off as like, oh yeah, everyone's probably experienced
Yeah,
that.
and I need to just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
It's amazing because we wouldn't realize that we're doing that to ourselves, but to have
Yeah,
someone else listening to you and
yeah,
having that perspective on it, you're like, oh my God, yeah, I do that. I do just
mm,
shrug stuff off and crack on, whatever the British
yeah.
way of dealing, stiff up a little, just crack on,
Mm,
like carry on
mm.
with life. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, amazing. We could talk all day, couldn't
I
we?
know, we could.
So I think, yeah, we will leave it there. We can share some links again at the bottom of this podcast. Potentially some other things that we didn't share in the first one.
Yeah.
Because we have loads, don't we? Have loads of like charities and websites and influencers on Instagram and that we follow. So should we leave this with where are you now? How do you feel you are?
So, gosh, that's a tricky one. I feel it's so weird because I wouldn't wish OCD on anyone. But it's the path that I've gone through and all the therapy and like knowing who I am now and really like strengthening my like self-belief, my compassion and for myself, and all of that. It's maybe a different person, I think, in lots of ways. So I feel like I'm a lot um I feel just stronger in myself. I feel like a stronger person,
Yeah,
because nothing's going to knock me down. I am a good mum. I am a good person, and
yeah. And you are.
I believe that. So there's a lot I didn't believe about myself. Growing up and feeling anxious and everything. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a good place. I also know that OCD might hang around forever for me. It might be something that I've got to deal with forever. But yeah, I'm in a much better place, and
You
I've got
sound
all.
like you accept it.
Yeah,
You
I
accept
accept
that.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
You
I
accept
accept
the
it.
challenge. You're
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I accept it's there, and it is what it is. And yeah, I've got two beautiful girls, and yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and
Oh, thank you for
allowing
having
me
me.
to chip in.
Yeah, no, it's been really good, and if this conversation has just helped one person, that's amazing. So
I think
thank you,
so.
Jen.
That's all right. No, and of course I'm going to share mine as well. Although I've mentioned it throughout yours and Jules's podcast as well, because we do have a lot of similarities. I think all of us. It doesn't matter what theme you have, is what we've learned, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where it's horrific, whatever the theme, because that theme is what is most important to you. Whatever it is, it's just as debilitating to that person because it's what is important to them. That's what OCD goes for. So, yeah. Well, we've got our toolkit. We'll share some more things at the end of the podcast. And yeah, thank you for listening.
lovely. Thanks, Jen.
All right, bye.
Bye.
You stay, I'll go. Show face for us both. I wanna please, so I'm walking on tiptoes. Tell you you're strong, but you think that I'm wrong. Know what you need, so I water your ego. And I bite my tongue, 'cause you always heal me wrong. I don't wanna have to laugh and hate. I don't wanna talk 'cause it only complicates. I don't wanna fight 'cause you won't communicate. Shouldn't have to ask you for flowers. I never know what time you're coming home. I don't wanna sit all night beside the phone. Even when you're here, it's like I'm on my own. I shouldn't have to ask you for flowers. If I'm honest, no, we can't sustain this. I doubt you even remember my birthday. And every time we drink it, you fall apart. When I try to speak, you make it harder. It's going in circles, I'm running a replay.